Bust it.
Hello out there, thanks for joining us on Political Platform. It's a Monday and a lot of flow from the weekend on the political activities. We also take a look at governance, the issues surrounding our well-being as Nigerians, and then the actions or inactions of government, institutions, and individuals. Thanks for always joining us on Ray Power FM network and on AIT in Abuja, as well as those who also watch us on our YouTube channel. My name is Okiri Agbonso-Remi, and we have a lot to indeed take a look at. But let's begin from the soft side. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is a PhD holder. Now, he used to tell Nigerians that now they dash me. Those the PhDs they gave him honorary. But this, he worked for it assiduously. We saw him carry the bag, do his degrees, and then ended up in PhD. A lot to learn from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Some positive things to learn from him, that you can indeed stay steadfast, work hard, and get what your goal is. It's not enough to just stay out there. One would know. We have wondered how a former president who has had it all good for him can sit down and run a PhD program. For the younger ones, that is something good enough for you to take a look at and not lose hope that indeed you can make it. You can get to where you want to get to, get that PhD of your dream, even as the various opportunities are beckoning on all of us. In the United States of America, the government is shut down this morning as the senators reconvene. They are going to be taking a look at how to quickly get approvals such that government will have funds to operate. In this climate that is in Nigeria, it is not known how monies are spent. We just take the money and we spend it. Unfortunately, our House of Representatives and the senators appear helpless in the matter, as the executive over the years, maybe a flow from the military, take it upon themselves deeper into the pocket, into the coffers, not appropriated funds, they are spent. And so our government cannot even shut down because there is always that disobedience, non-compliance with the rules that make it possible for the executive to spend their money even when they are not appropriated for. Somebody said we should begin to learn, of course, develop the law, move away from the individuals and to institutions so that we begin to have what it takes. And then the other one, I wouldn't know, I was discussing it at the meeting with my colleagues. It is not known if it is official. It is not credited to any source, but the social media is awash with all the information. In fact, there is the debate, and even the mainstream media also have it, that there is an external content of what is happening around Nigeria with regards to the herdsmen killings, and that it is dressed in the way that we understand it as herdsmen, but what is beneath it is a massive international terrorism onslaught on Nigeria, and that this has been planned carefully to have the colors of herdsmen. Some persons are saying it is diversionary. Why has the government not come up to explain it in greater details? What are security agencies doing to explain the details to us so we know what to do? And the bigger question, where were we when it all were going on, and how did we get to this level where we are now trying to understand, after all the massive deaths, the kind of catastrophic killings that we have seen over Nigeria. Something that we also take, but because it is not, we have not seen any source linking to a DSS making a pronouncement, or the Federal Ministry of Information making a pronouncement, or any government official saying this is exactly what it is. It should be enough for the president or the vice president, or indeed any of the government officials to tell us this is exactly what it is. But like we always caution on this program, it's a security matter. It's like we also need to be cautious to allow them do their job so that they can have a better explanation. That is not to defend them. We are entitled to information and it should be provided. Mechi Anakwe is on the program, obviously as confused as myself over this latest development.
Here, from every indication, the statement to the leak got to the press, if you ask me, from the presidency. It bears all the characteristics of the presidency leaking information, and maybe due to some security consideration or some political consideration, they are not brave enough to own up to that. Of course, it's one thing that we have seen over the years. But like you said, we have known that we have porous borders. They are porous, nearly 200 illegal entry points. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry can cross from the North Africa through the Sahara Desert to our country.
And just to quickly add to that before you continue, there's no way you can determine who is a Nigerian once this border crossing is done.
Of course.
Once they are inside Nigeria, you don't know who is a Nigerian.
You have Fulanis in Nigeria, you have Fulanis
all over West Africa.
You have Fulanis in Chad over West Africa. Some of them are members of the Islamic State of West Africa. And of course, when there are insinuations that they are here, of course, you know the objective. One paper was reporting it, and I didn't want to interpret it that way. But of course, we need to do more. We need to do more. This is a fact that has been known to us. After all, Governor Rufai said he did his own research and was able to trace to some of them. Is the Chad or Niger Republic where he went to pay money. So it's not new that there is an extraneous influence. What is new and what we should be asking is, what has the government done to check this? If they have permitted up to Benue, up to
it means they are already done.
That means they're everywhere.
Yes.
They're everywhere. And any observer would have told you that it is not surprising that they're here. We have porous borders and it will continue to happen, but we must continue to interrogate what we have been doing as a nation to contain this.
And Ijoma Osamo is also right here. Ijoma, welcome.
Thank you, Kiria. I'd like to take us back to when a statement came out from this presidency that most of these headsmen are non-Nigerians. If since they came out with that statement till now, they've been able to identify the Nigerian headsmen, because I know, even inside me, my instinct is telling me that most of the killings being perpetrated by those called the Fulani headsmen are not Nigerians, because the Fulani that we knew when we were growing up, they're not, even if you see them with their cattle, they only go there with sticks. So if they become so, maybe they are infiltrating them, they are trying to lure them into doing this, talking them into joining their
or even convincing them.
But I think,
arms.
yes, I think it is apt for this, for our Nigerian government to try and identify those that are genuine Fulani headsmen in Nigeria. Those that are Nigerians. At least, if you go outside the country, if you do not have their papers, you'll be deported. So we should try something. If our porous if our borders are porous, because I remember during the tenure of the last administration, we kept saying that the borders are porous when they discovered Ebola in Nigeria. That the federal government should do something about. If it is time for them to work it perfectly so that Nigerians don't get carried away. Because this can just divert attention from what we are seeing, from the killings, and into making Nigerians believe that ISIS is already in this country, and we don't talk about the killings by the headsmen. Let the federal government...
Islamic State in
West Africa. Let the federal government identify, at least they have an association, the Métis Allies is there. They can register their members, genuine members, and give them ID. Then when you get to them,
you have hit the nail on the head. It's, we don't have any data in Nigeria.
At all.
We don't know how many people are in Nigeria. There's no one successful census we have conducted. No census has been conducted in Nigeria that is not under dispute one way or the other. And we all know collectively that the figures we have are not correct, but we work with them. Now, at some point, we abandon our census figures and depend on United Nations estimation. We say somebody out there in New York or in London is estimating the population of Nigeria for us, and we just use the figures. Those are the figures we use. Even the statistics body, what do you call it? The the National Bureau of Statistics also hazard figures to say these are the. Now, there is no way as a people we are going to make a successful headway, and I would dare say that the lives of our children and our children are right in our hands today. If we need to take steps, and I think we do need to take steps to be sure that we secure the lives of our children for tomorrow. Now, this glutinous life that the current generation live, to consume and to eat and just better our lives today without thinking of what is going to happen to our children, is what is causing the crisis. We're already seeing it, Dr. Amechi, in the movement, the mass movement, the exodus of young people out of Nigeria. Somebody wrote a mail to us this morning to suggest that if we go to the immigration service and take a figure of the last 3-4 years, the number of people who are asking for passports to go, legally or illegally, demand for passports, you wonder if there is a state of emergency in already Nigeria. Declared in Nigeria, that people should run away from this country. Now, those who are already out, they would rather die there.
Yes, no matter what.
They will tell you they don't want to come back here. Now, how did we get to this level? How did we arrive to this level? We get to this level where there's a huge despondency among Nigerians, and a class of people feel comfortable about it. They are not doing anything about it. If they are not comfortable about it, it is not exhibited in the way they are frantically looking for solutions. We are not looking for solutions, we are just comfortable.
Oh, here, there's another very sad development, the Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the Central Bank. Of course, the Monetary Policy Committee sets the interest rates, the monetary policy rates. Of course, so many of them, for over time, they'll be meeting and setting these rates, comprising of 12 members, but some people have retired, some of them, their tenure have ended, and there are only five of them left. And the Constitution, the law says, establishing the CBN says, the quorum is 6, that's half of the full membership, 12. They're supposed to meet today, first meeting in 2018. They meet once in 2 months, but the meeting has been put off by the governor of the central bank.
Because there's no quorum.
There's no quorum. And that is because the National Assembly, the Senate to be specific, has refused to ratify the nominees sent in by the president. Not just for the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank, but there are some others. They have only been able to confirm and ratify the appointment of INEC members or ministers. They said because of the refusal of the president to ask Ibrahim Magu to step aside as EFCC chairman, they will not do any ratification or confirmation. So we have what I consider our own government shutdown in Nigeria. Akin to what is happening in the US. The Senate refusing to ratify because the president has continued to keep Ibrahim Magu in order. And the rates that guide financial services, financial operations in Nigeria will remain stagnant. If there's a need to reduce, review upward or downwards, nothing will be done because those in politics, politicians have refused to take a look at our laws, the oath they took in office and abide by our laws. More problems for the country.
Well, I think I should make a clarification here, and Uju Eje, our eyes and our ears, who also helps supervising the reports in the National Assembly. Uju, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now I want to make it clear, it's not just that Magu is the issue with the National Assembly. What the Senate has said in a statement that was posted to my platform this morning says that the Senate believes that there must be a clarification as to who deserves to be cleared by it before the person is appointed. Because the argument that has come from the presidency is that, oh, it is not necessary for some category of appointees to be taken to the Senate in the first place, and that it is superfluous. The Senate is insisting that there should be a court interpretation so that they get there's no judicial interpretation. It's just Magu that we can see up there that is affected, but it is not strictly Magu situation. It is. I wonder, it's a situation where we can also take within 2 weeks. I don't want to say 1 week. Within 2 weeks, because when it comes to constitutional matters, you don't need to go to the High Court. Once it's also involved the two arms of government, or state and government, you can go straight for interpretation at the Supreme Court to say, what do we do? If we all sit down within 2 weeks of filing all the papers and the briefs, we can get this about this has been on now for close to 1 year.
Yes.
And we are not able to solve the problem.
Ohibia, you would know that ab initio, right from the onset, there has been a power play between the executive and the National Assembly. Most of the things that we see are a result of that power play, to my own understanding, because there have been governments and the National Assembly has done its work. There have been appointments over the sessions, and the National Assembly has confirmed some of these nominees, and those that were rejected were changed. What I do not understand is why, if the National Assembly says this man, we cannot confirm him, the executive has stuck to that. And I also do not understand why the National Assembly will stick to its guns. You just told us now, I mean, you have covered the judiciary for years, that this thing can be done within 2 weeks. So what is keeping us? You find that each man is using his own situation as a tool to negotiate, to massage his ego, even beyond ego, to negotiate his own side of the bargain. You know that the Senate president has been in some situations, the executive too on the other hand. So this man holds on to him and says, okay, I will hold him here. And say, but they are playing with the fate of millions of Nigerians. This power play is not right for our country. Look at it, we can't take decisions, fiscal decisions, guiding the economy of this country. Is it not, I mean, where has it, in any decent society, you don't have these kind of things. I think that our leaders, like I would always say, should be very, very, very careful how they play with the fate of Nigerians. The day Nigerians remember you, God help you.
No, they will definitely be remembered. If nobody remembers them now, time will remember them.
Yes.
In 30 years time, 30 years time, 50 years time, we would have been remembered as a generation who had all the opportunities
to make the difference, to
we have
change
the
things.
best sunshine, the rainfall is too much, we have landmass that can grow anything, we have minerals, we have tablelands, we have everything, every local government, a generation that is consuming generation, wasteful generation, and most importantly, very unintelligent generation. And it is not that we are not intelligent in the way we take shortcuts, but we have a lot of greed that comes with it.
Okay, how do your children remember what is happening today when they don't teach them history anymore?
All right, let's go back.
Introduce history.
let's go back. I think after all the shouting, history was later inserted. We hope that the appropriate history is actually taught.
Exactly.
Let's take your views through political platform at yahoo.com. You can reach us, tell us your views about the issues that we throw up, or issues that you also notice in Nigeria, and tell us your views, share your opinion. It is very, very important to us for us to have your criticisms ended with a solution, a suggested solution on how you think we can move ahead as a nation. Now, who is talking to us this morning?
Thank you, Hira. I am Ifeinwa Mobi.
I am Tenekan Akepuli. Welcome.
We'll begin today's mail segment with this one coming from Hakeem Kazim in Lagos State. And he says, the statement by President Muhammad Buhari that he is still reflecting on the killings across the country is indeed tragic and unfortunate as it sounds. Before he ran for office in 2015, Nigerians thought he had an action plan to tackle the socio-economic conditions afflicting us. Now the president is still thinking, while the country is turned to a killing field, is a manifestation of unprepared, unpatriotic, and lethargic disposition. I want the crew to let this president know that Nigerians are deeply hurt, hungry, angry, and dying right now, and he needs to wake up from his deep slumber. If you use 30 years to reflect on the problems of the country, then how many years do you need to provide or prefer the solution? We certainly don't have the luxury of time. It will be foolish on the part of Nigerian voters to return an unprepared leader come 2019. Third force is most needed.
In more reactions, Success in Yanya Abuja says, Nigerians, open your eyes. It says, please, Nigerians should wake up. Our youth should not allow any politician to buy their votes come 2019. Our loved ones are being killed, while the people we voted into power and their relatives are enjoying themselves abroad. Please, Nigerians should vote wisely come 2019. God bless Nigeria.
And this from Ayorinde from Igondo in Lagos State says, it is indeed a concern when you see the 100 and 200 naira notes in circulation, now dirty, mutilated and tattered, just to mention a few. I hope it is not an illicit business again by officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria who would have disposed the mutilated notes, now affecting the circulation of such notes. CBN, Nigerians are watching.
That's it on the mail segment. Keep your mails coming, send them to politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Thank you so much. And we just begin with an input from my friend. It's always good to have lawyer friends, so that when you are going the wrong,
you'll be well guided.
You'll be well guarded. In fact, somebody also guided us last week and called us, was very angry that we misinformed the public on the issue of the price of petroleum in the United States and other parts of the world and Nigeria, so that we don't encourage them to increase the price. That correction I will start with, that it is a gallon. A gallon has 4 liters of petrol that they buy in most parts of the world.
That's the pricing unit.
The pricing
instead
unit.
of per liter here,
it is per gallon. And that the gallon has 4 liters. So if petroleum per gallon is $1.2, it means that you have to multiply that $1.2 to by the naira value, and then you divide by 4 to know the exact, so that you can compare with what is happening here. So it will be wrong, and it was indeed wrong for us to assume that 1 gallon of petrol at 1.2 should be 1 liter of petrol in Nigeria. So we have to do the division, and if you do it, pro rata it is not actually more than maybe 102, 103, depending. I'm not an expert in this area, but the one that we need to quickly correct this morning is that the Supreme Court can hear a case direct from the federal government if the matter is between 2 states, and that the arms of government will need to go through the normal process. But what is beautiful about the normal process of going through the court is that accelerated hearing can be granted, and that the court itself can, through, if the lawyer so requests, can take the matter without even going into all the, when he discovers that it's a constitutional matter, can refer straight to the Court of Appeal and then the Supreme Court, so that there will be a quick dispensation of justice where the matter can be quickly resolved. We have had over 1 year of who is qualified to do a particular nomination and appointment, or is it confirmation from the Senate? But unfortunately, none of either the federal government or the National Assembly had took it up then to go to court to say, look, quickly give us an interpretation. What is the power? What is our powers? Where are the limits of the powers? But I think there's a matter.
At some point, remember, we're here challenging the 2 parties, the executive or the legislature, to take this matter to court. The other kept saying, you have that responsibility. It's you that should take it to court. The other one said, no, you were the one that asserted in the first place, and he who asserts must prove. So it tells you that it's like I mentioned initially, it's more of an ego thing. If it is about resolution, we have outlined processes this can follow, and we end it up. And it's not just about the Monetary Policy Committee, it's about several boards, several parastatals. DGs have been nominated, but no confirmation by the Senate. Members, executive directors or members of boards have been nominated. So many of them. So it permeates through the entire Nigerian state and economy, where people who have been appointed cannot resume and function because of this impasse between the 2 arms of government. And I see some form of mischief, if I dare say that, on the part of the executive. You said the federal government, the Senate does not have the right to ratify or confirm the appointment of Ibrahim Magu as acting chairman, or indeed any other person as chairman of EFCC.
That is the one that is not specifically listed.
Yes, and there are so many of them, not just EFCC. They said apart from the ones that were listed, INEC, ministers, mentioned in the Constitution that the executive need not send the name to the Senate in the first place. That was their position. Now, after that, they continue to send names to the Senate.
Confusion.
Because that has been the practice.
It's for me, it's called mischief.
Because the acts, some of the acts setting up these bodies made specific pronouncements or requests for names to be sent to the National Assembly.
If you believe there's no need for the Senate to do it, you ask them to resume. Why send letters? to the Senate.
When on the other hand you are saying
there's no need for it. If not, that's why I said it's
now I think we have boxed ourselves into this tight corner of government shutdown in quotes of certain areas, because the Senate has said we will not go ahead until then. But is the Senate willing, Uju, to go to the court, file a case in court, or is the case already filed in court that they are waiting? Because it's not enough to say we are not going to do it. We are not going to do any confirmation of anybody, but we should take appropriate steps. And I believe, even as citizens, maybe lawyers, human rights, and those who are involved in advocacy, because they have sufficient interest in this matter. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if they'll have enough locals to say I am sufficiently interested in this matter because I'm a Nigerian.
As a private citizen.
So as a private citizen, let the court determine if who has the power and who does not have the power.
The National Assembly or the Senate has a stronger legal department, and of course you know that Malami was one of them too before he was appointed. And I believe that I cannot say categorically if it has gone to court on its own, but for it to say, look, this is what we stand, I know that they mean business, because the Senate believes that its powers have been trampled upon. Like I said, we've had governments over the sessions, and each government has adhered to the provisions of the act setting up these agencies, these bodies, and up until now there has been no confusion as regards this case. All of the nominees have been forwarded to the National Assembly through the Senate, and they have been duly confirmed or rejected, like I said. And I do not see why all of this confusion. I believe that the Senate believes that the strike has been trampled and is ready and bent on ensuring that this thing is ironed out so that it does not keep recurring.
Let's hope it is not a matter of just power show. We are not going to confirm anybody, so let the federal government
I think it goes beyond the power show. I believe the ego of the Senate, the powers of the Senate are involved in this.
Our time is up. I'm Okiri Agbonsuri. We do have a wonderful week ahead.